Good afternoon.
Hi there.
I wanted to weigh in on something. I don't know if it was on the news about Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
And talking about not being ready for a gay president.
Right. He didn't say that, but yeah.
Okay. Well, here's my point on something of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a Christian, I disagree totally with that lifestyle.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, a person has a right to choose whatever lifestyle they want because, again, this is America.
Sure.
And I don't believe that, I'm not going to go out and or kick on a Saturday and, beat up on someone because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do disagree with the lifestyle.
Okay.
Now, my thing is not the fact, are we ready for a gay president, but if Mayor Pete were to become president, what would he try to do with people who disagree with that lifestyle, say a church, for instance, or business or something of that nature?
Well, yeah, that becomes the question. There's some executive authority that he could exercise. And
right.
Legally, not illegally, but legally, there's some executive authority that he could exercise when it deals with church and accommodation laws and things of that nature. So, there will be some religious institutions that resist conforming to that, who will certainly be nervous about it, without a doubt.
And this is my point, too, because, the left constantly harps about the separation of church and state.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
And, the whole thing was, okay, Thomas Jefferson was the one that penned that letter to the Danbury Baptist Association, basically
Correct.
saying that that there's a wall of separation of church and state to keep the government out of the church.
Right.
And what I think is the Democrats and what I call the loony leftists want a state church of the LGBTQ community. And that, I think you're going to have a major problem.
Well, let me elaborate. Thank you, Donovan. Appreciate it. Let me, you know what? I'm just going to play you the 2-minute segment. How about that? You just cue up the audio. Let me just play the 2-minute segment of what Rush actually said, because I'm not happy with the way that anybody is covering this. So I want you to just listen to this, okay? And by the way, I want to thank Alex because he actually posted it to my Twitter timeline. So just sit back, listen to what Rush Limbaugh said on his show. I think it was yesterday that he said this. Just pay attention to everything that he says on this, because I think that the context has been shifted from what it really is. And I know that would surprise a lot of you that Rush Limbaugh was taken out of context. So I want you to hear what he said.
Hey, how's this going to a 37-year-old gay guy kissing his husband on stage next to Mr. Man Donald Trump? What's going to happen there? And they got to be looking at that, and they've got to be saying that despite all the great progress and despite all the great wokeness and despite all the great ground that's been covered, America's still not ready to elect a gay guy kissing his husband on the debate stage president. They have to be saying this, don't they? Now, there may be some Democrats who think that is the ticket. There may be some Democrats who think that's exactly what we need to do, Rush. Get a gay guy kissing his husband on stage, you ram it down Trump's throat, and beat him in a general election. Really? Having fun envisioning that.
Okay. So here's what's being reported, and I've heard it on this station too. Rush Limbaugh says America's not ready for a gay president. He didn't say that. He literally did not say that. You just heard it. He was talking about how even people on the left have to be evaluating this and asking that question about electability, because it's a real question, okay? Do you know how I know it's a real question? Because we had a Pete Buttigieg supporter in the Iowa caucus try to take back her vote when she found out that he was gay. A news story, by the way, that did not get covered. Yes, there were some people outraged on social media. Yes, I talked about it. Of course, we talk about anything, Pete Buttigieg, because he's from here. But the media swept that under the rug, because you can't, this is the beauty of it, and that's why I told you they weren't going to cover it. You can't escape the fact that that was a Democrat voter in a Democratic caucus who voted for Pete Buttigieg, who had no idea that the guy was gay, even though it's the worst kept secret in all of politics. And she tried to take back her vote. And you can't paint a Democrat that badly if you're the press in the United States of America. So that's what happened. Rush Limbaugh did not go on his show and say America's not ready for a gay president. And anybody, doesn't matter what news outfit, who says that he did is not telling you the truth. He was extrapolating on what happened in Iowa with that one woman who decided that the person that she thought should be the next president of the United States wasn't good enough because he's married to Chasten. So she tried to take her vote back. And all you have now is you have Rush Limbaugh going, well, they have to be looking at that. How is this going to play out on the stage in a debate between Pete Buttigieg and Donald Trump? Where you've got Donald Trump there, okay, who is well known for dating some of the most beautiful people available. Melania is obviously gorgeous. So he's Mr. Man. That's his reference to Donald Trump. And then you look over here and you got Pete Buttigieg kissing his husband on the stage. He goes, they have to be thinking about this. Of course they do. There's an electability issue that has to be evaluated. Is America going to reject Pete Buttigieg because he is gay? Just like a large chunk of America rejected Mitt Romney because he was a Mormon. So there is something that has to be evaluated. There are many people who believe it's not going to be an issue. Okay? There are others who believe it will be an issue. And then you had the last caller. He pointed out that there's going to be some religious institutions that will be certainly concerned about it because they would wonder what his policies would be. And he does have some executive orders that he can issue that would potentially impact them. But Rush Limbaugh didn't go out there and say America is not ready for this and rail against his sexuality and all of that. That didn't happen. And I'm sure on Monday, if Rush is back, he's going to laugh about how, oh my gosh, I was taken out of context one more time on my show. But you just heard it. He was referring to them, meaning the Democrats, and strategizing. Is this going to be a problem when he's on the debate stage next to Donald Trump and he is having an intimate moment with his husband? Is that going to play well with the American voter? And they have to think about that, just like they have to think about if Bernie Sanders' age and the fact that he's just had a heart attack is going to play well. And they have to think about that with Michael Bloomberg and the fact that everybody in New York hates his guts, and he's got these policies that everybody calls racist. You have to think about that with Elizabeth Warren, who's constantly lying about her background and her family and her history and her employment. These are all things that have to be evaluated. Rush was simply making the point of they have to be thinking about this, but he didn't himself rail on it and say that America doesn't want a gay president and that Pete Buttigieg is gay and therefore icky and therefore shouldn't be elected. He never said that. But that's how it's being covered. Because once again, Rush Limbaugh is taken out of context by freaking everybody. More open lines coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Michiana's news channel is everywhere. The top news and